welcome to another edition of Sermon and Song with Blue in the Face. I'm Chris Catalano, and I'm going to talk to you about all things love of God until I'm, blue in the face. All of us are touched by the deep impact over the loss of our loved ones. Let's continue our series on bereavement. Today, part 3. They say the hearing is the last thing to go. Would you say your loved one was compassionate? I suppose most of you would, or you wouldn't be mourning as you are today. Compassion is a deeply rooted tendency in the ones we call most dear. It never fades. If compassion was abundant in the life of your loved one, it was also still there in the process of dying too. Sickness and death don't erase the compassion. It's deeply rooted and remains that way. Last time I told you about my friend Larry who passed away of cancer. While his life was an inspiration to me, his death was as well. The gift I received in being able to accompany him in the dying process at the hospice center changed my life. I can't stop thinking about a story that was told to me his last days at the hospice center. Toward the end, there was a particularly nice day outside. Because of that, Larry wanted to be wheeled outside to sit. On the way, he was able to convey to the family that he wanted a piece of blueberry pie that was in the kitchen area for the residents. When Larry was wheeled outside, although he was starting to fail at this point and communication was not always an easy task, Larry began to fling pieces of the blueberry pie all over the patio area. No one could understand what at first seemed to be an embarrassing moment for the family. Eventually, it became clear he wasn't crazy. He was actually trying to feed the birds. In his dying state, he was concerned about the birds. That story has really stuck with me. You know, they say the hearing is the last thing to go. I disagree. While for many, this may be true, in Larry's case, I disagree. I really believe the last thing to go for Larry was compassion. You see, whatever the most fundamentally rooted things in our being leave us last. Reflexes, hearing, thoughts. Whatever those most basic things in each of us, they go last when we depart. As Larry slipped away, his perception of reality began to be skewed. We all saw it. It hurt to see. Yet there was something profound in the blueberry pie story. When reality started to slip away, Larry reverted back to his most basic tendencies. For him, it was compassion. He wanted to feed the birds. By itself, under normal circumstances, this is an act of love. My grandfather used to love to do this all the time. Yet this humble act of love was one of the very last acts the family would witness. Do you see the significance in this if this was one of the last acts for him? How utterly unbelievable and touching. As Larry started to slip away, one of the last things that remained intact was love and compassion. His hearing wasn't the last thing to go. It was his deeply rooted compassion. Do you know how deeply rooted in him compassion had to be the last thing to go? It had to necessarily be part of his very makeup, the core of who he was. And of course, if he was showing compassion for birds as one of his last acts, do you see what that says about his love for his family? Think of Jesus' words to better understand. Look at the birds in the sky. They do not sow or reap. They gather nothing into barns. Yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are not you more important than they? Can any of you, by worrying, add a single moment to your lifespan? Why are you anxious about clothes? Learn from the way the wild flowers grow. They do not work or spin. But I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was clothed like one of them. If God so clothes the grass of the field, which grows today and is thrown into the oven tomorrow, will he not much more provide for you, O you of little faith? You see, if Jesus cares for the simple birds and the wild grass so greatly, how much more must he care for you? Larry was the same way. If in his dying days he was caring about little birds, it therefore was implied how much more did he care for and love his loved ones. Everyone could see that compassion was rooted deeply in Larry if blueberry pie to the birds were among his last actions. Compassion was the last to go. That meant he lived a life from the core of his being of tremendous love and care for everyone, especially his beloved wife who cries upon every opportunity in remembrance of her lost love. Blueberry pie. Simple? Profound? Just loving and caring Larry, who loved his own to the end and still does today from where he rests, loving his own and God forever in heaven. I suppose compassion was the last thing to go in your loved one too. That's why you mourn today. In your hands, Lord, I place my spirit. This is a song I wrote called Alone She Walks. It was written as a reflection on the grief journey Larry's wife Jerry walks, a journey that's both personally unique and universal in the sentiments we all come to know as grieving children of God. Alone she walks the water's edge at peaceful evening tide, and in the breeze of twilight mist lies beauty far and wide. The ocean and its rhythmic song spins forth the serenade, and rocking on the crest within rest seabirds as they wade. But all that sits serene and calm is hidden to her eye, for one she loves so dear and true has left her now to die. Is only in her inmost soul he greets his lonely bride, but lost is she in thoughts of him that once walked by her side. Walk on through the night. Walk on to the light. For once upon a lifetime read a story built for two, but death in cruel fashion numbered days that were too few, and all that stands before her life is future dreams belied, and in its stead come tidal waves and tears of longing cried. Now how could one of gentle love deserve a fate as this? Yes, how could one this gentle dove now merit this abyss? For no one knows the way she longs to hold the one she wed, dry the moistened bed, now filled with tears just shed. Walk on through the night. Walk on to the light. The sun now fades to darkness on this lonely, mournful daughter. The moon is casting peaceful beams upon the broken water. But alone and softly walking, she continues through the night. For who can knows what lies beyond the sky at morning's light. Walk on through the night. Walk on to the light. Walk on through the night, through the night. Walk on to the light.